Hey there, Myro. So I opened up your log. I actually did it on Clean Flight Configurator, which I have version 2.5.11. The reason I still use this is because in December the Betaflight one was messed up for the RC rates weren't reporting what you had set in Blackbox. So the Clean Flight one was fine, and I have saved views in here, and I'm just too lazy to reset them up in the Betaflight one. Since then, Betaflight's been fixed, so I have it in 3.0.0 RC1, which is what you're reporting. And I opened up your log and I turned on the debug modes, and I can set that. I can run the analyzer here real quick. You just hit these little analysis buttons, and you can hit them on any of the traces, but they don't mean anything on certain traces. You gotta understand what you're trying to get out of them. So anyways, one of the things I first noticed here is you need to be sampling at a higher rate. You're running a 8K 2K at a 1/8 sampling rate. So what you have, I have a video on that. I'm going to put a link below in this post. Go watch that video. It talks about sampling rates and how that 1/8 rate is, you're getting a 1/8 rate because you're sampling at a 1 kilohertz, which is what everybody recommends, but that 1 kilohertz out of 8 for your gyro is really 1/8, right? But that 1/8 is applied to your 2 kilohertz PID loop frequency, not your gyro rate. So that's why you're getting such a low, and then it's half of that because of the Nyquist limit, which is a signal degradation thing. It gets into signal theory, so don't worry about that. But that's why it's halved, because of that Nyquist limit. So at the end of the day, first thing is, why not bump this up? Can you bump this up to a at least 4K? You have an F4, so you should be able to run an 8K. So you might want to bump that up to at least 4K and see if you can even run at 8K. Make sure if you go up to 8K that your processor percent utilization doesn't go above like 30 to 40% utilization, but it shouldn't. Now, you really need to see up to at least 500 hertz. So, like I said, watch that video and do the math. It depends what you want to set that PID loop to. Obviously, if you'd set your PID loop to 8K, you'd leave the sampling rate at 1 kilohertz, and then it would be half of that, which would get you the 500 hertz. So if you up your PID loop, then you don't have to adjust your sampling rate if you keep the PID loop down, blah, blah, blah. So, but looking at this you have a fairly noise-free craft. It looks pretty good. Looking at I know I can't really see where the peak motor noise, but usually that has a harmonic that's down lower here. So let me just look at this here. Yeah, the proof is in the pudding when you look at the Dterm traces, which I have the Dterm right here in the middle, and you can see that's pretty good. You might be able to turn off some static notches to reduce your latency. And you can look by just using your I and your O keys in your keyboard. If you go to here to the little help here, it has all the little shortcuts to turn off smoothing first of all, which I didn't turn off yet. I should do that. And then also how you can set your input and output locations for kind of narrowing down your view for the spectrum analysis. What is weird here, it looks like when you're doing a full stick movement on, I would assume, the pitch axis, which I can look at here, it looks like you're getting a ton of noise. So I don't know what that's all about. I mean, look at that noise from a full stick deflection forward or back. Yeah, to me it looks like when you're doing a full pitch deflection with 0 throttle, you're getting a ton of noise on the craft. I'm not seeing it in the gyro trace necessarily. It's really just on the on the motors here. I wonder, do you have any capacitors on the, is that ESC noise filtering back into the system and somehow causing a weird situation there? But so that's one question. Do you have any capacitors on the system? So this is why I'm going to continue to use the older Clean Flight one. If I'm in the Clean Flight Blackbox Explorer, the version I went over, looks like you have the anti-gravity gain at 3.5, and you can see down here missing header fields. It's basically got 3 missing header fields. Basically has to do with the PID sum, the PID denom, and the log start date and time. And that's it. If I go to the Betaflight one, first of all, it's not reporting the anti-gravity gain correctly, and then it has more missing header fields. I don't understand it, but thought it was noteworthy. It's just strange because, you know, I'm looking at this is the gyro notch now. I moved the graph down, just different graphs. But, you know, you can see oscillation on the yaw axis, and you can see oscillation on the, you know, on all the axes, but the pitch isn't too bad, right? And then up here at the gyro, so let me just reorder these real quick just to get them in a nice, let me do PID. Okay. So it just moves them around. Okay, now we're going from the top down. So you can see oscillation here. You can see, you know, that the filters are smoothing that out on the gyro itself, and it, you know, there's oscillation here, and there's oscillation here as well. There's not that much. I mean, the intensity increases. You definitely can, and it's on the yaw axis more than anything. But then just down here, boom, on a full pitch deflection at 0 throttle, your Dterm just freaks out. So maybe that's why you're looking at these logs to try to figure that out. Honestly, what we're looking at here is a limited sampling rate, so you need to run a higher sampling rate before we really dive into this if you want some help with it or not. And that's my biggest recommendation, because we're not looking at really enough data to be trying to solve this problem first. Even if it is a problem, maybe it's just something because there's not enough data sampled. So, all right, well, it's more than you asked for, so hope this helps you.